Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Best IT Solution. And today we will see another important topic of Spring Boot, that is validation and exception handling. Okay, so how we can validate our data and how we can handle the exception. Okay, so we will see one by one. So both the topics are very important, that is validation and exception handling in Spring Boot. Okay, so we will see first what is validation, and then we will see what is exception handling and what is global exception handling. That means how we can handle the exception in our project, all the exception in globally, that is we can say also centralized exception handling. And we'll first we'll see the theory part of these things, and then we will do also one simple practical of this demo, how to handle validation and exception in a project. Okay, so first, what is validation? Okay, so validating user input is a very common and key requirement in today's world. Okay, so validating the data, so whatever the data comes from the user, or whatever the data gives the user as input, is a to validating that data is a very common and key requirement in today's world, and it is also very important requirement to validate the data in today's world. Okay, so Spring Boot provides the strong support of the support for the validation. Okay, so Spring Boot supports strong support. Spring Boot provides strong support for the validation. Okay, so Spring Boot supports seamless integration with custom validator, but the de facto for performing validation is Hibernate validator. Okay, so Spring Boot supports seamless integration with custom validator, which supports for custom validation, but the de facto for performing validation, but the alternate way or the main way of performing the validation is the Hibernate validator. Okay, so which is provided by the http://hibernate.org/validator. Okay, so Hibernate validator is the de facto standard for validating the user input. Okay, so JSR 308 is a specification of the Java API for bean validation, which is ensure that properties of a bean. Okay, so bean validation, whatever the bean or POJO class or entity class, whatever fields we have mentioned there, like name, username, password, date of birth, gender. So all these fields can called as a bean properties. Okay, so JSR 308 is a specification of the Java API for bean validation. Okay, which ensures that the properties of a bean. So which ensures that the properties of a bean not null, at the rate minimum value, at the rate maximum value, or size. Okay, so different annotations are there, so which is provided with JSR 308. So without handling the exception also we can validate our the bean properties or bean attributes values. So for that, at the rate valid annotation is also there. At the rate valid annotation, when Spring Boot finds an argument annotated JSR 380 implementation hybrid validator and validates the argument, when the target argument fails to pass the validation, Spring Boot throws a method argument not valid exception. Okay. So when Spring Boot finds that there is a JSR 380 implementation, that means there is at the rate not null annotation, or at the rate mean, at the rate max, or at the rate not blank annotation is given to a particular field, and that field data is not given. So at that time, that target arguments fails to pass that validation, Spring Boot throws an method argument not valid exception. Okay, so this exception is thrown due to at the rate valid annotation. So we need to mention that at the rate valid annotation in our response body or in our controller class in the method. Okay, so bean validation 2.0 specification, that is bean validation.org/2.0. so this is bean validation, so we can validate the properties or fields of bean only, bean class only. Okay, so common used validation annotations are, so for bean validation there are some common annotation provided by the Hibernate validator. So that is at the rate not null validates the data, annotated property value is not a null value. Okay, so null value will not accepted. At the rate size validates that the annotated property value has a size between the attributes mean and max. At the rate mean validates that annotated property has a value no smaller than the value attribute. At the rate max validates that the annotated property has a value no larger than the value attribute value. And at the rate email validates that the annotated property is a valid email address, so it will validate the email address, that is the domain name, all this thing. At the rate not blank validate that the property is not null or white space. At the rate not empty annotation validates that the property is not null or not empty. At the rate assert true validates that the annotated property value is true. Okay, so if it is boolean value, so always it is only taking the true value. So these are the some common annotations which are mostly used for the validation purpose. Validation the bean values or bean attributes. Okay, so we need to add this dependency to get the features of validations. Okay, so for this to avail these validation features, so there is a dependency available that is Spring Boot starter validation. So okay, so we need to add this dependency, that is org spring framework.boot the group ID and artifact ID Spring Boot starter validation. So we need to add this dependency for getting all these features, validation features in our application. Okay, otherwise it will not work. So this dependency must be used. Okay, so this is all about the validation, how we can validate the bean property. Okay, by giving annotations and at the rate valid annotation in controller level. We will see also these things in practical. So next the another thing is exception handling. So what is global exception handling? Okay, so global we can handle in Spring Boot project, we can handle the all the exceptions which are coming from the controller class or service class, that will be handled by the global exception class. Okay, so how we'll do these things, we'll see in practical also. So what is address controller advice? So it allows us to write global code that can be applied to a wide range of controllers. Okay, so if there are 4 or 5 controllers are there, so we'll create a class that is annotated with @ that class should be annotated with @ controller advice. That means that class, now which class annotated with @ controller advice, that class can accept the all the exceptions coming from the controllers. Okay, now this is a exception class or exception handling class we can call. So by default @ controller advice annotation will be applicable to all classes that use @ controller and can be also applied for @ rest controller. Okay, so @ controller advice used for both for the controller and @ rest controller. We can also write @ rest controller advice also in case of RESTful web services. So @ controller advice or @ rest controller advice. So if these two annotations or any one of the annotations are given to a particular class, that class is now handle the exception coming from all the controller or rest controller. Okay, and then how we can handle that exception? So exception @ exception handler is annotation. So it is used for handling exceptions in specific handler classes and or for handler methods. Okay, so this exception handler annotation is given to a particular method which are going to handle that the particular specific exceptions. Okay, so this is the exception handler. So if it is used with the controller directly, we have the need to define it for controller. But when used in combination with @ controller advice, it will only use in global exception handler class, but applicable to all controllers due to the @ controller advice. Okay, so if we will individually use it for controllers, so we need to define it for controller. For each controller, we need to write on exception handler class. But if we will use it will use in @ controller advice class, then it will applicable to all the controllers due to this @ controller advice. Okay. So another is @ rest controller advice. Okay, so it is the combination of both @ controller advice and @ response body. So this is generally used for the RESTful web services. We can use the @ controller advice for handling exception in RESTful web services, but we need to add @ response body separately. Okay, so generally this @ rest controller advice used for the RESTful web services. So if we use the @ controller advice, we will need to also use the @ response body. And another thing is what is response entity exception handler class. Okay, so we need to extend this class to a global exception handling class. Okay, so which class is annotated with @ controller advice, that class is the global exception handling class, and we need to extend that global exception handling class. Suppose the global exception handling class name is rest entity exception handler. So this class extends with the response entity exception handler. Another thing is there are some predefined set of exceptions defined in this class from REST services perspective or mainly from HTTP perspective. Okay. So why we need to extend this class to our global exception handling class? The reason behind this is there are some predefined set of exceptions defined in this class. Okay, so there are some predefined set of exceptions defined in this exception response entity exception handler class. Okay, so if we just extend that class, we can avail that all that we can access all the predefined exceptions which are present in the response entity exception class. Okay. And another thing is all those exceptions are handled using response entity exception handler class only. Okay, so all the exceptions which are predefined that are handled using the response entity exception handler class, and all those exceptions also which are coming from the controller that are also handled by this response entity exception handler class. So either we can use the default exception method defined in this class, or we can override the method to get our custom exception message body. Okay, so either we can use the default exception. So what are that default exception methods are there in that response entity exception handler class? We can use that default exception method defined in this class, or we can override the method to get our custom exception managed body. Okay, so we can also override that method body also to give our custom exception message body. Okay, so some predefined exceptions are like some predefined exceptions which are already mentioned in that response entity exception handler class, that is method argument not valid exception, and HTTP request method not supported exception, and class HTTP media type not supported exception, missing path variable exception, and no handler found exception. Okay, so these are the exceptions which are mainly used in this exception handling classes. So this is all about the exceptions, how we can handle the exceptions in our project. Okay, so let's go for practical, and we'll implement this validation and global how to handle the global exception we'll see in practical. Okay, so first thing is what should we do? So we need to create, we'll create a simple project, and then we'll show some exceptions from that project, and we'll see how we can handle this exception in the globally sorry, and also we'll see how we can validate the bean property also. Okay, so for global exception handling there are 2 to 3 things we need to follow. That is, first we need to follow is that how fast we need to create a exception global exception handler class. We need to annotate with that class as a controller advice, and inside that class we need to create some methods which is going to handle that exception, and for each method should be annotated with exception handler. Okay, and we can also use inbuilt exceptions which are provided by the, and we should extend that class with response entity exception handler class. So we can use the methods that are provided by the response entity exception handler class. We can use that method also, or we can override that method to give our custom message body, or we can also create our own exception. Okay, we can our own customized exception also. We can create the customized exception class. Okay, so let's go to the okay. So let's go to the browser, and quickly I will create a project from start.spring.io. Okay, so here I am going to create a project for showing the demonstration of validation and exception. Okay, so here I am going to use the Maven Java version is 2.7.14, and the package is com.tarun, and artifact means project name. So exception global exception demo. Okay, global exception demo project for Spring Boot global exception handling. So this is the description. Java packaging as jar, and Java version is 11. We will use it. And here I am going to add some dependency like dependency wave, by dependency spring wave, and another one is for getter and setter we will use the Lombok. Okay, and for validation purpose string starter validation IO, bin validation with hibernate validator. Okay, so this is compulsory, we need to add. And whatever things we need, if we will use with want to use database, then so here I am not going to use any database. I am only show the I want to show the exception, how just exception is thrown. Okay, or we can use also database also. So just I am adding the dependency of MySQL and Spring Data JPA. Okay, so this much for the timing it is required. If others is required, we'll add later. So just click on generate. It will generate our project. Okay, so I think it has downloaded. Okay, so just it will download as a zip file. Yes, it is downloaded as a zip file. So just extract the project. Extract all and extract. Okay, so we got the project. Now just go to the STS and just import the project. So import existing Maven project. Next, and click on browser. Just select your project. Download global exception demo. Yes, finish. So now you can see here importing Maven project. So just wait for some time. It is downloading the project structure from the spring.io website. So it depends upon the internet speed, how much time it will take. So yes, so now 8%. Yes, it is done. Now we got the project here, global exception demo. Okay, so just go to pom.xml file. So you can see here the version 2.7.14 and global exception handling demo project, and another thing is Java version is 11. Okay, and all the dependency it is added, that is JPA, and this is the dependency which is required, that is Spring Boot Starter validation. Okay, so now just I am creating some package here. So dot controller and another new package dot repository is another one is like package dot entity. Okay. And also for handling the exception, I will create another package here, like that is for error dot error. So all the exception related thing I will create in this package. Error. Okay, so I am going to create a class in our controller. So suppose this is home controller. So home controller. Okay, So since the REST, we are giving the REST web service. So under with @REST controller, @REST controller, and create a testing API here. Okay. So public string test home. Welcome to global exception handling. Okay. So public sorry, my mistake. This is the method name. Okay, so I should write these things inside the return statement. Okay, and just annotate this with the @get mapping, import get mapping, and slash. Okay. So just save it and run the program. Run as Spring Boot up. Okay, so it is start running. Just wait for some time. Okay. Oh, sorry. So we need to configure the data source properties. So just comment this API dependency because it will need it searches for the data source properties. Okay, Control S. Just rerun it. Yes, now application is started. So just go to Postman. Okay. So now I will fire the request from Postman. That is a GET request. So it is launching the Postman testing tool. So okay. So now it has launched. Okay, so our application has started in localhost port 8080. Okay, so just fire this one, localhost colon 8080, send. Okay, so we got the output. Welcome to global exception handling. That means our application is built successful and giving the output also. So now we are creating the bean class and we'll do the bean validation. Okay, so just create a class in our entity, new class, suppose employee. Okay. And annotated with @entity. I think it is our entity. It is not showing the import option because we have just deactivate this JP dependency. We have commented this one, so just uncomment it and save it, and just configure the datasource property. Otherwise, it will show error again. Just go to the application properties and okay. So I have copied the properties from here. MySQL properties this one. Okay. So Control V. Okay. So and also verify MySQL workbench, that is there in database present in the name of user. So MySQL workbench, just open MySQL workbench and search for the database, that is user. So it is launched the MySQL workbench. Okay, so show databases. Yes, so I think that yes, already there is user database, or you can create database also. So show table, insert that user database. First use user. Okay, then show table. Okay, so I will take user technology user. Okay, so there is user table there. This is my one of my previous projects. So no issue. We'll create another employee table in that user database only. Okay, so root password. Okay, everything is okay. So just save it. And in employee, yes, now we got the import option for the affected persistence, and I simply will adding private int eid private string ename private string address, and this is our employee ID is the primary key. So @ID from Java dot persistence. Okay, also add the data @nowhere constructor further, and all our constructor. Okay, all our constructors. So all these now our entity is ready. Another thing is our EID, we can make it as auto generated, that is generated value. Sorry, so this is individual properties @generated value strategy equal to generation type dot auto. Okay, so address, name address on the private string, mobile number, mobile. Okay, so this much field we have taken in your entity class, and okay, just create the controller for handler for that, save the data. So at the rate post mapping, and suppose slash save user, save employee. Okay, public string save, method name is save. Okay, return employee saved successfully. Okay, we need to pass the parameter as the at the rate request body, at the rate request body, and their parameter is employee. Object will pass employee object. Okay, so we need to import this employee from global extension entity class, and this one the employee comes from the request body. Okay, so no need to write here the request body also. So just comes the request body here. Save. And for saving the data in database, we need to create a repository. In repository package, and just I'm going to create a interface, that is employee repository, and stand with the repository. Okay, so the class is employee and the ID is integer, that is the type of the primary. Just import the employee from the global exception handler classes package, and annotate this interface as repository. Okay, so our interface is ready. So just use this object to save the data in our database. Okay, so employee repository, so first we need to auto add these things. So auto add port, private, auto add it at the rate to add Okay, so just input this one from the global exception and 3D demo package, and use this object to save the data dot save play. Okay. So now we'll test it, the data is successfully saved or not. So just go to the postman and send the post request for save employee and body JSON. So in body just let's pass the JSON format. So first whatever the fields are there, just empty class EID, this is auto generated, and ename address mobile, ename address mobile. Okay, so ename, suppose employee name is employee 101, then ename address address, suppose this is from Bhubaneswar, and another one is mobile. Okay, mobile. Okay, so demo, just give a mobile number here. Sorry. So this is our data. So now just send it. So we got an error. Play ename address mobile. Okay, 404. Just go to the our code. I think our their table is created or not. Table. No employee table is created. So for creating the table, just run the program. Just wait for some time. It is relaunching the program. Yes, now the table is created. You can check it in database, that is employee table is created. So select star from employee. Okay, so till now a table is created but no value is present. So just send the value from postman. Employee saved successfully. That means our data has saved to the database. Just take it database. Yes, so one data has come, that is EID 1, and this is auto incremented, and this is our employee name is employee 101. Okay, so data is coming successfully. So now we'll see how we can validate our data. Okay, so just make this name as mandatory field. So at the rate not blank. Okay, not blank. It is from java.validation.constant.not blank. Input from this, and message equal to employee name is a mandatory field. Okay, so I am given the employee name as mandatory field. Okay, and so now if we will run the program again and try to send data from the postman, and we will see what will happen. Okay, Here go to postman, and if we will send now on 02, it will work. Okay, sample data saved successfully. Okay, there is 02 is 102. Oh, sorry. See, the previous data is deleted because our table has recreated. So just make it update. Otherwise, every time it will create a new table. Okay. And now, if we will send the data again by deleting this field, since it is a mandatory field, but I am just deleting this one and just send the data. Now you can see here we got the error, and the reason of error is, you can see here. So the error is Java X dot validation constant validation failed for classes. So the error, you can see my message also, employee name is mandatory field. So exact path also here given, the property path ename, and root bin class is class.com. This is a package, base package, and message template is employee name is a mandatory field. So we got the error in our console. Okay. So that means so this is not the exact way to handle the exception. Okay. So we need to handle these things in a controller level. So in our controller, we need to mention annotation like @valid. So just import it from the Java X.validation. Okay, now this validation validate every fields of this employee object one by one. Okay, against this constant given on the entity class. So since here only ename, on ename we are given the constant, so it will check this one only, and just save and run the program. Yes, now our program has run successfully. Now just send this data again. At this time also we get the error for 00 byte request. That means data, and you can see here the region of error, that is method argument not valid exception. Okay, which I've told you during the theory part, that it will show the method argument not valid exception when it will find that valid annotation. Validation failed for argument 0, public Java, and .lang.string.com.com.upload exception package controller home controller. It will come from home controller, and field error is employee on field name, rejected value null, code not blank. So constant is given for not blank, and you can see the message also, employee name is mandatory field. Okay, so now so but user, how this error is showing just in your console, but how end user or front end user, how this will know that actually what is the error and what is happening, why this error message we are seeing here. So that error should be shown to that particular user only who have created that request. Okay, so here we should see the error, that is employee name is a mandatory field. Okay, so now we will handle this exception in globally. Okay, so in our error package we will create a exception handler class. So just create a class here like new class for handling the exception or error. Okay, so just okay, so just save it and run the program. yes, and just send the data. Okay, so now you can see it is showing the error at bad request. So still it is not resolved. So user should see the actually what is the error message. Okay, and in our output you can see the error we got this as my employee name is a mandatory field, but this thing should be shown to user end user, and the exception type is what is the exception method argument not valid exception. So we how we can show this exception error to the end user. Okay, so for these things we can do one thing, we can create a exception handler for handle this exception. Okay, so just copy this one and create a handler for handle this one. Okay, so suppose here I am going to create a handler like at the rate exception. So in controller only I am going to handle it. Then I will show how to handle this global exception handling. Now for the time being, now I am just handling here exception handler, and I am passing that message method argument not valid exception dot class. Okay, and create a method for handling this exception like public suppose string public string, and handle this handle exception. So any method name you can give and pass here this method argument not valid exception ex. Okay, and you can send any message from here to show to the user, and you can also get the actual message also. So return ex dot get message also you can send. Okay, so from that whatever error as a message are coming to this exception, that message can be returned. Okay, so just save it and relaunch the program. So in this way also you can handle any number of exceptions here by creating individual exception handler class methods for handling each exception. Okay, just go to the postman and send again. Send. Click on send, and you can see here now. Yes, now error is coming to the our user. That validation failed argument public. Okay, so all these things. Data default message source available class argument default message ename default message. So you can see now error user can see here employee name is a mandatory field. Please enter it. So now user can know what is the actually error. But we can also minimize these things. So just go to the Spring Boot and we can directly send the message also return here, or we can also send the string directly. So return please check the input field again. So fields are missing. Okay, so in this way you can also send message to the end user. So just save and rerun the program. Okay, so just go to postman and just send it again. Okay, fine. Now we can just customize it. Please check the input field again. Some fields are missing. So now user can see these things in the actually some data missing here. Okay. So this is the handling in the particular in that controller only. But this is not the exact way to handle the errors actually. So to handle the error in globally, what to do? So now we'll see the global exception handling. How to handle the error in globally or centralized way. Okay. So now we'll see global exception handling. Okay, so handle these exceptions in globally. So I am going to create another controller to demonstrate the global exception handling. Okay, so suppose get mapping and get mapping. Suppose we're searching for a particular employee by ID. Okay, so the URL is get employee and I will pass the parameter, that is EID. Okay, so just write the handler for it. So public string and get data, and here we need to accept the data at the rate path variable. At the rate path variable. So in EID. So here also come get EID. Return. Okay, so return the particular employee only. So our return type is employee. Make it employee return type. So return the employee employee object. So to get the data, we need the help of employee repository object. So employee repository dot find by ID. Okay, yes, find by ID. It will take an ID as input parameter, EID, and it will give us the optional employee object. Find by ID, optional employee object. So we can directly get the employee by using the dot get, or you can we can handle also it. Suppose it is written the find by ID employee. Okay, then to get the data, suppose it is employee data. And to get the employee object, employee data dot get. So it will give us a employee object and we will return that object. Okay, so just save and rerun the application. So this is handler, giving the comment handler for get the single record. And this one for save the data. Okay, so just go to the Postman and fire this URL. So post mapping, suppose this get mapping, just the ID and pass that. Suppose to database to employees present or not, just take in database. Yes, there is EID 1. EID1 will present. Okay, just go to postman and type here 1 and send. Okay, so now you can see here we got the data, but if we will send the 2, what happened? Okay, so this is can show 500 internal server. So this is an exception. So now this exception should be handled or end user should show the message that what is the actual message that user not found or whatever things or employee not found. Okay, so we will handle this employee not found exception with the help of global exception handling class. So now we will handle this. We need to handle this exception. So just go to this exception class. Sorry, this controller. So in controller we are directly get this one. So we can check here. We need to check to handle the exceptions. If if sorry, if employee data not equal to null. So we can check in this if data not equal to null, then we are just get that data. Employee dot get will dot simply employee dot get else or equal to null. You can say if employee data equal to null, we can throw the exception throw employee not found exception, and in message we can pass here like employee is not available for this EID. Okay, and otherwise you can just okay, or otherwise you just get the data. Okay, sorry. Okay, so if employee not found or if it will null, then it will throw this exception, otherwise it will get the data and it will return the data. Okay, so now we need to create this class. So just create this exception employee not found exception class in our exception handling class. Okay, class exception and extend with exception. Exception, sorry. So we just create this class now. Okay, so now this error has gone from controller. And also throws declaration. So new keyword. Sorry, new need to set the object. New employee not found exception. Okay, just import it. And now in this employee not found exception, just extend with extends with exception class. Okay, so just this is a warning, just add serial version UID and override the method or create a constructor from super class, from exception class. Okay, so generate constructor using generate constructor from super class. Okay, so just create all the select all and generate. Okay, so all the constructor now has created. Okay, just save it. So this is our now any number of exception you are getting, you need to create in this way the custom exception class. And from home controller, just throw new hard throw declaration also in our method level. Okay, so employee get data and throws employee not found exception. So now we need to create the controller advice class, which class is going to handle the exception. Employee not found exception should be created in error package. Okay, okay, so now create a class that is so just create the controller advice class that is suppose global exception handler class. So okay, finish and annotate with this class as @ controller advice controller advice. Okay, sorry, and extend with response entity exception handler. Response entity exception handler. Okay, fine. Okay, now we need to create the exception handler in the same way we have created in controller, like is exception handler. In the same way we can create the exception handler. Okay, so just go to the exception handler and @ exception handler and just type here which exception it is going to handle. So that is which one, that employee not found exception dot class. So this exception is going to handle, and public just write the handler. So this the type is response entity, since you are send the response to the user response entity, and the response entity will send the error message also. employee not found exception, and it will take argument also this employee not found exception. Okay, suppose exception. And another also you can argument you can parse, that is web request, because sometimes this one also required web request. So just import web request. Okay, and import the response entity from the string from our HTTP, and also import the exception handler also. Okay, so now you need to mention the error message. What is the error message you want to pass to the user? So I am just going to create a class of error message also. So for binding our error, new class error message. Okay, so suppose private string error for HTTP status. HTTP status private string message. Okay, so use @data for getter setter, and @no r constructor, and all r constructor. Okay, so this is our error message class, and just pass this class to this global exception handling class. Okay, and one thing, so this web request is optional. If the web request object is required, then you can pass, otherwise you cannot pass also. Okay, employee not found exception dot class. Okay, so this is error because we have make the quotation here. Just import this one, employee not found exception. I think I have created that one, that is which I have created, employee not found exception. Employee not found. Okay, now it has gone. So what it is showing, the return statement. Okay, so now we will add the return statement here, the object of the response entity of error message. So first we need to create the object of error message, that is error message equal to new error message, and with the help of this constructor I am building the object. So first is HTTP status. So HTTP status dot bad request or not found, anything you can mention like not found. Okay, not found. This is the first parameters, and another one is message. So message is we can get the message from that exception. So ex dot, what is the object? Exception is object. Okay, so exception object dot get message. Okay, now return response entity dot status. Okay, response entity dot status. So in status we investigate status. Sorry guys, HTTP status dot not found. HTTP dot not found, and we can also pass the body of that error message. So body of that message. Okay, so whatever message we are configured. Yes, so this is the message. Okay guys, so I think this much it will work. So when an exception will come in a controller, so it is come the like same method argument not build exception, it will catch that exception by this exception handler. So this is the one way we can handle the exception here in control only, but this is not the exact way we are handling this one globally. For global exception handling, so when you are passing a EID employee ID which is not which data is not found, then it is if employee data equal to null, throw employee not found exception, and it will catch by this controller advice. So it will come from here in the global exception handler class, and it will handled by this exception handler. So in same way you can mention as many exceptions you can mention here. Employee not found exception or employee input or invalid exception, any type of exception you can mention a number of methods here at that exception handler, because all the exceptions are handled by this controller advice class only. So just save and run it and check whether it is working or not. Okay, it is relaunching the application. Just wait for some time. Okay, finish. Just go to Postman and again click on send. So still it is showing the timestamp error, and if we will send the data on, that is employee 1, yes, employee 1 is getting, but if we will send the employee 2, it is getting the error. So we can mention another thing is like global exception, the response status we can mention at the rate response status. Okay, from update bind annotation. Okay, just save it, because it is not sending the response to the postman. The message equal to exception body message. Okay, the controller employee not found exception is coming from error dot employee not found exception. Okay, fine. So just check in postman for sending send. If it is getting the same error, it is get employee 2, that is, and employee 2 is not found. So because we are checking here the null check, we are doing the null check here. So period equal to null, that means if data equal to null, then only that exception will throw. But we can write this one in this way, like if employee data not present, so not employee data is present. Employee data dot is present. Okay, so it will return the true or false value. Okay, is present. So if data is present and not present, so data employee data is not present, it will throw exception, and if present, it will get the data. Okay, so just save and run it. Otherwise, it will check the null value, because we have not set the null. Otherwise, if we will set the null here, then also it will work. For that, we need to set the manually employee first employee object as null. Okay, so just go to post and send. Okay, so now you can see here the status not found. There is data, that means data is not found, and message employee is not available for this employee ID. So you can see set here any message. This is called custom a message. So whatever message you are passing from this exception and class, here employee is not available for this EID, please enter a valid EID. You can write any message here, and that message here coming to this message coming to this global exception handling classes, this, and here it is exception dot get message. This message come to this object, and we are passing the message object as a body. Okay, so now the exceptions are handled here, not found and message. So in this way, this is the in this way we can handle any number of exceptions in this global exception handling in class. Okay, so you can create another exceptions in the same way, like copy, and you can create any number of exceptions here and another exception here, and for separate exception you need to create the custom exception class also, and you need to mention your body for that. Okay, so this is all about the global exception handling and the validations. Okay, so okay guys, in this way we can handle all the exceptions in globally. So this much in this video tutorial. So thank you guys, and if you think that you got the some knowledge from this video, please like, share and subscribe the channel, by which I can motivate and I can make more and more video on this topic. And on request you should practice, please practice yourself, otherwise if you see this video only you look like that it is very much easy, but when you will do the practical implementation of it, then only you will face issues, problems, and if you will see face any issue, please write in comment section. Please feel free to ask to me, and I will try to solve your problem also. Okay, so thank you guys. Please like, share and subscribe the channel.